Hello everyone, welcome back to Fir Park layout update number 10, and I've made some progress on the upper level. I've put the back scenes in place. As you can see there, what I've done is I've used a Gauge Master 3-piece back scene, which is this here, comes in a tube. It's code reference GM708 large town back scene, and you've got left, middle, right, so that over there is the left hand section going around into the middle section, and then the right hand section. And I've used a second set of these and used a separate one on the piece of thick cardboard mounted across the doorway. And if we just pan back round over here, I've used another piece there to run off scene and printed off a building image off the internet just to cover where the landscape didn't quite marry up. And I've also installed the high retaining walls, Backman Scenecraft. Put some in there, and I've got the girder bridge sides on there. The platforms are looking good with some people on there, a few benches. I've got a ratio platform canopy which I restored. Backman Scenecraft high retaining walls over there with a bit of foliage to cover the gaps which I'm working on. In that corner there, you'll see on the plain wall there's some pencil marks. That there is going to be a mountain range, like a highland sort of mountain scene, and just where the coaches are on the girder bridge, you'll see some lower sort of squiggly lines there. That will be a sort of river coming in from the distance. And in that corner I've got a block of DAS modelling clay and a pillbox from Hornby, and I'm going to build up a little embankment, put some fir trees, and I'm going to put parts of a castle there, half relief, which I'm going to be taking from that, which is made by Fowler. It's not quite HO scale, it's designed to look sort of from a distance, to give a sense of sort of distance if you like, but I'm going to build up, like for instance that turret and these parts. I could easily use those with the walls in some form or another over there going around in that corner. I may not use the pillbox, I may just build up some trees and put the castle in, but that's something I'm looking at. The other thing I've done is the back scene for the lower level. Now originally I was going to try and source some half relief warehouse units, but the ones that I was looking at, they wouldn't flex round the sort of curvature of the track behind in the fiddle yard. So I decided to make my own by using thick bits of card, going on the internet to a Word document and printing out the company names and printing out some windows off a simple image search. And I've used some other bits and pieces as well, such as that staircase there. And that takes us round here to the football stadium stand. Now that's basically a half relief rear end of the Fir Park football ground. The corner bit just there would represent the other stand going up there, and then this stand goes along here. And what I've done is I've printed off some corrugated sheet pieces, and also got a couple of bits of plaster card, and that's the rear end of a stand. And the doorway there that you can see, what I've done there that sort of door frame is actually the piece of plastic that you get from a pizza box. Pizza Hut, they put them in the middle of the pizza so when the lid goes down on the box it doesn't crush the topping. Well, I thought they're quite useful for that, so I've got a set of double doors there. That wouldn't be the turnstile entrance, that's like a sort of staff entrance or an exit, because no supporters would come out or through this side of it. Again, Word document used for the branding up the top there. And then that takes us round to the last unit, which is Universal Exports. Again, similar process. And I like those a lot. I think they look very good. They cost me nothing to make. The football stand I think I've got right, because you do see older grounds, they have the corrugated sort of finish there, and the large windows scattered about, representing the different, the lower ground and then the upper sort of tier. And the other thing I've been doing is a hard standing area. Now that is still drying at the moment, hence why it looks a bit but when it's finished it should look okay. What I did was I used poly filler, and when that was almost dry I then painted over it with a grey paint all the way over. I then made sure the rails were clear, and I got an old wagon and basically went up and down over the rails to make sure the wheel flanges were clearing a sort of groove there so that they could go through. Now looking at it, I think that is actually reasonably okay. It's still, the paint's drying at the moment. Once I've ballasted the area all round and everything, that will look a lot better. I don't have any inspection pits or anything inside the depot, so it's literally just the hard standing area being modelled. The doors on the depot do close, but I think that looks quite good. First time I've attempted that. Okay, it's not perfect, it's not smooth, but there again, some hard standing areas on depots could have been there for years, and it's the elements and what everything else have taken its toll, and it's a bit sort of uneven in that. I think it does look okay. The paint's still drying at the moment. I've also used a bit of foliage around the edges of the warehouse buildings. And the other thing I've been working on is the bus depot. I've used some balsa wood pieces for the pavements, an urban grey for the road surface, and I've used a pencil which to sort of smear in some tyre marks from buses where they keep sort of reversing in and out, years of doing that. We got a bus stop over here with telephone box, a couple of post boxes and a couple of people there and some cars. I bought a Leyland, no, that's a Plaxton coach. That one's a Leyland Olympian, but that one's got Glasgow destination. I think it's Garnock Valley, Glasgow X36. So I've been busy sort of building up that. And yes, over in the corner there got the distillery. I think that looks quite good with the backscene. I've also put some balsa wood pieces in there to cover the exposed areas of the backscene. Apologies for my voice, I've had a terrible virus and it keeps cutting out, but I'm getting over that. It's just the blasted voice. Anyway, the depot crew area I've decided to use on my parcels depot because I thought it looked better as an administrative block. So that's there, and I've started putting in on the parcels depot some additional luggage trolleys. I've got the brute trolleys there. I've also put a balsa wood backscene on the right hand side there, running all the way along. And then I've also put the backscene right the way around in front of the controller there, with a low relief warehouse unit there. I'll put some more of those on around there. So I think we're well on the way scenically. The depot itself doesn't have doors at the other end, but I haven't done hard standing there. I've only done it sort of there. There's a close up there of the ladder and the windows. I think they're pretty effective, these. I quite like my pizza box whatever you call it, bit of plastic for use as a doorway. I think that's pretty good. And overall, I like the football stand idea. That's quite a good feel of that. I mean, anybody can do that on a layout if you've got a space and you're not sure what to do. You know, you can do the rear end of a football stadium, rugby stadium. You know, it's simple, straightforward. They're pretty basic structures anyway, easy to model. So I think that's about it for this update. And I shall paint that back scene on the wall there with my own colours, watercolours or paint tester pots. But I think that's it. So I've been quite busy, even though I've been ill with a virus. I didn't do a lot of work on the layout when I had the virus. I was totally shattered with it, but I'm on the mend now, so I can carry on and do a bit more. So thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe. Thanks to the people that have subscribed already. Hope this is of interest. I'll see you in the next update. Thanks for watching.